I think that's one of the biggest selling points of direct mail. That it's not the hype. It's not like we can beat your meta ROAS any day of the week. Like, I mean, it might happen on a campaign or two. To me, that's not the main value prop. It's that you could launch a campaign it's going to be like one of your top 3 acquisition channels, but the cost won't change, right? Because the price of postage doesn't go up or down daily like Meta's costs. It's not dynamic.
Welcome to the E-comm Breakthrough Shortcuts. In these 5-minute episodes, we cut straight to the real stories, real numbers, and the real lessons learned from brand builders and entrepreneurs just like yourself. No fluff, just high impact takeaways that you can apply into your business today.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. There's like just tons of risk in not running a diversified marketing program. And I think brands first learned that in like 2021 with iOS 14 when Apple kind of shut down Facebook on mobile device. Like all of a sudden the tracking went away. You couldn't track people across apps. And, it was a shot across the bow to a lot of brands that depended on that. But then since then, we've seen, whether it's privacy or whatnot, I mean, it seems like every other week, Google makes a change that makes it harder to hit the inbox in Gmail, right? And the latest iOS 18 now just made it very hard to hit the inbox with email. So it's not just Meta, it's sort of like, it's always hard to, it's increasingly hard to reach your customers, right? Or prospect for new ones. So I think your average D2C CMO now has wisened up. Like for 10 years there, we were lazy marketers. We just threw money at Meta. We didn't really care about attribution, and it worked. But the two things that have happened is like, it's a dynamic ad platform. It's become more expensive. So you can no longer just buy clicks for pennies. And then the other thing is it's like, you're at the whims of the platform. The rules change, you got an iOS update or something, and all of a sudden your traffic goes to zero. So yeah, your average CMO now needs to diversify. I think that's one of the biggest selling points of direct mail. It's not the hype. It's not like we can beat your meta ROAS any day of the week. Like, I mean, it might happen on a campaign or two. To me, that's not the main value prop. It's that you could launch a campaign it's going to be like one of your top 3 acquisition channels, but the cost won't change, right? Because the price of postage doesn't go up or down daily like Meta's costs. It's not dynamic. So whatever you pay, if you get a 3x ROAS today in whenever this podcast launches, May, it's roughly going to be the same during Black Friday, right? Like you can't say the same thing about Meta. Like when every one of your competitors enters the ad market on Black Friday and you get bid out. So I think it's CMOs and really CFOs love the channel because once you get it cranking, it's just going to deliver the same performance week in, week out. And in fact, so we set up our acquisition on Postpilot to be very similar to Meta. It's like you set a target ROAS, you can set a budget, and it's like as long as you're hitting that ROAS, you can increase the budget if you want, or you can just hold it steady, you can cap it, but it's like it's rolling, right? So think of it as a Meta campaign. So that's why I see a lot of brands kind of diversifying off Meta. They don't want to be screwed like they were a few years ago when iOS happened and when iOS 14 happened. And so I think it's that. It's also like you bring up the case of like, if I'm getting 4x ROAS on a Meta campaign, well, naturally you'd put another $1 in that campaign, but you can't do that forever. Like there is the law of diminishing returns. Eventually you're going to acquire all the cheap customers and that 4 is going to drop to a 3, right? To a 2. So we also see a lot of brands come over when that happens. So it's not just when they're frustrated with the platform or the performance this week is very different from what it was last week. It's we've tapped it out. Like we've acquired all the customers at 4. We need to go find customers at 4x ROAS somewhere else, and so direct mail could fill that gap.